Hey everybody, it's Brett, and lately I've been reducing my electrical consumption by doing a bunch of different things where I'm turning things off. And one of them is the water heater. A couple of days ago I turned this big one off, and it's going to be interesting to see how much more electricity I'm saving than I already am. And if you've watched my videos lately, you'll notice that I also said that I turned off the baseboard heaters because I'm not using those in the summer anyway. So if I turn them off with the breaker, then they won't be trickling using electricity, because you'll notice that if you don't know this, that appliances, no matter what they are, they're using electricity if they're plugged in, just tiny amounts of it, even if they're not turned on. So now that I turned the water heater off, this morning, I'm doing dishes in cold water. And some of you are like, oh, that'd be horrible. But you know, it's summertime and the water's not that cold. It's not that cold. You could easily go swimming in that, and you know, I can easily do dishes in it. So, got some soap on there. I don't need a lot of soap anymore because I don't eat much animal products, and when I do, it's just like fish and homegrown eggs for the most part. And so we're not talking about like a whole lot of grease, unless it's something like peanut butter. So I don't really need that much soap either. And the dishes seem to wash just fine in cool water. I can't say for sure that I'll be able to deal with this in the winter time when it's really cold, but other people, they go and they get their whole bodies in cold water. They do the, what's his name? You know, what's that guy? The freezer man? The cold water dipping man. They do that, and that's become popular. So I'm like, well, if they can do that, then you'd think I should be able to wash dishes in cold water. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to get used to being more conservative with the resources, because if I can do that, then I can live the kind of a simple lifestyle that I want to live. And you know, this doesn't seem like it's too big of a deal to me. And some of you are like, well, what about showering? Aren't you going to shower in hot water? Well, yeah, whenever I need a shower, which is, you know, like I said, not very often anymore, like with my clean diet, and my body is a lot cleaner. But a couple times a week, I'll just go turn the water heater back on, and I'll let it warm up for an hour or two, and get myself a hot shower, and then turn the water heater back off. So, it's been realized by a lot of people. It's been realized by a lot of people that like it's wasteful to keep the water heater on all the time. So they've created these on-demand water heaters. And that's a good idea. But how about if I just flick the breaker and turn it off when I'm not using it? The only thing I really need it for is, like I said, once in a while a hot shower or a hot bath. So there we go. I'm saving more money. Oh, and incidentally, check it out. All these appliances are plugged in right now. But they're plugged into this strip. And that strip doesn't get turned on unless I turn it on. Like, how big a deal is that? So before, all these appliances were using electricity, little tiny amounts of electricity, when they were plugged in. But now they're not. Oh, I'll show you another thing. So at night, all these various things, there's various things that are plugged into this big old freaking strip. I don't know if you can see that here. Okay. See that big old strip? That's a big old Belkin strip. It's got a switch on the side of it. At night, I reach my hand back to that switch right there and turn it off. So, for 8+ hours, whatever it is that I sleep, and before I go to bed, all of those appliances are turned off. And so I'm saving more electricity. There's no reason for all that to be turned on, nor do I want any of that on, even at night when I'm sleeping. Oh, I bought a couple of those little switches for these too. I kind of don't like to turn these off. See the red switch? I can flick that and have those turned off. Oh, and also I've got one of those on this. Right now that's not using any electricity because it's turned off. See, if I want to turn it on, then I can. It only takes that much time. And also it's plugged into that. So neither that or that are drawing any electricity unless I turn that on. So you can buy those little switch things online, Amazon, whatever. And if you've got, you know, I've already had this. I think I've got another one or two of those too in the storage thing. So there you go, I'm saving electricity. So you can look at your account online and see how much your consumption of electricity is. And mine was averaging $1.60 to $1.80. Yesterday it was $1.34. How's that? And before I turned off the baseboard heaters that weren't even being used, but they were just trickling electricity, that saved me like 30 cents a day to turn that off. So think about that. That's like $6 a month. Now I'm going to save an additional $6 a month by turning off the water heater. Now, probably, yeah. And that's really important for getting off grid, because like when you're off grid, you're running on just your batteries. Your batteries are running off your solar panels. You don't have an infinite amount of electricity available to you all the time. You have to get conservative and thoughtful of the resources. And all of this is just like being more considerate of the planet. And that's where we all have to get. So that's the deal. So somebody might be wondering, well, how are you going to take a bath when you're living off grid, you know? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a big pot like this, and I'm going to put a couple of gallons of water in it and put it on top of my rocket stove and get it really hot. And then I'll just dump it into a big tub, like an old-fashioned tub like they used to use in the Old West when they needed to get a bath, you know. And I probably won't have a hooker like they had, but but I'll have a hot bath, and you just pour the hot, scalding hot water in there, and then you add cold water to it, and there you go. You got yourself a deal. So this apartment has the hot water heater underneath the sink, and it just doesn't need to be running all the time. Let's just give it a break, poor thing. Watch this. August. I love it. It could be August all year and I would just be as happy as I could be. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. Give me a thumbs up. Buy my health and healing products at brettsnaturalhealth.com because you believe in the things that I'm telling you. And because you want to support your own health. Thanks for joining me. Bye.